Hi everyone. My article this week was I Can Read Further and There's More Meaning While I Read, an exploratory study investigating the impact of a rhythm-based music intervention on children's reading. So this article started with a really big review of literature. And the first thing that really stuck out to me was that in a study of young children, researchers found that their ability to cope with patterns and rhythmic complexity typically increases between 5 and 7 years of age. And at this point, they can reproduce one bar rhythms at the level of an adult non-musician. So I found this interesting because that's kind of talking about the target area where students are at the point where they're going to be either the same as an adult that's a non-musician or a student that's like still working towards becoming a proficient musician. They also talked a lot about Dalcroze in this article and how movement is a really big part of a student being able to move to a steady beat and identify rhythms, and then that how big of a role that plays in their ability to read. They also mentioned a study where students were put in drama and music classes, and the students that received the drama and music classes were significantly better at recognizing stress patterns of words and producing multi-syllable words. So the students that received those activities were better at those skills. And then they also did a study that a test of pitch and rhythm discrimination was used to determine musical perception, and the children's sensitivity to pitch at the age of 5 was able to determine their reading performance as they got older. So there was just a lot of really good research that this article started with to kind of introduce the idea of rhythmic intervention. So the purpose of the study was to explore whether training children to perform increasingly complex tasks while keeping time to a musical accompaniment would have a positive effect on the temporal organization of their reading skills. So basically, if they receive rhythm intervention where they keep a steady beat and read rhythms, would that affect their reading skills? So in this study, took place in the UK at a school of children ages 9 to 13, and they selected 15 students ages 9 and 10 who were identified as weak readers by their teachers and were grouped together and taught as a low ability group. So these 15 students received rhythm-based intervention by their music teacher, and what was so interesting is that it only took 10 minutes to do this rhythm intervention at the beginning of their regular music lesson. And they were tested before the intervention started at the beginning of the 6 weeks, and then again after the 6 weeks. And the way that they were tested was using kind of like what we have here. Some of your schools may use DRA, but this is the Neal Analysis of Reading Ability, or the NARA. And this measures oral reading ability and comprehension of the text. So they were tested with this particular test before and after the intervention. During the intervention, like I said, it took 10 minutes at the beginning of every music class, and it was kind of done in 3 stages. First, the students were asked to keep a steady beat to a musical example. Then they were asked to keep a steady beat with their feet and pat the rhythm. And then they were asked to keep a steady beat, pat a rhythm, and chant at the same time. So it kind of took 3 steps that they built up to. So after just 6 sessions of this reading, or this rhythm intervention, they were tested again, and they found that students' reading comprehension, reading accuracy, and reading rate, according to this test, increased across, let's see here, 4 of the 15 children were reading at a new chronological age level, which means that they moved up in their ability to read. 8 of the children made gains ranging from 4 months to 33 months. So they were making these huge growths with just these 6 rhythm intervention activities. And then I thought it was really interesting because aside from just looking at the numbers, it said that 10 of the children were aware that their reading had become easier or better, and 5 of the children referred to being able to understand more of the text. So I thought it was really interesting that aside from the data showing us that they were having better comprehension, accuracy, and rate of reading, the students felt like they were being more successful. And the article kind of touched on this in the discussion section because they mentioned that the students were identifying that the intervention was fun and it was making them more relaxed when they were reading. which I think, aside from getting them to read better, it's good to have fun and be happy when you're doing this intervention, because that kind of gives them a positive state of mind about it. So this article I thought was great for my own research project because it had really, really good literature at the beginning that it referenced, and that kind of helped me on my way to designing my own research project. And I liked that it talked about how short the intervention time was, that it was only 6 weeks long and they had 10 minutes every 6 weeks. So it doesn't take much to make a big difference in their reading ability based on rhythm intervention. So overall, I thought this was a great article. It was well organized, it was easy to read, and I liked that the students felt like they were getting something from it, and then they also had the data to back it up. So that was my article on rhythm intervention, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.